G'day guys, what's cracking? It's Ralph May here, and this is Suncrafter's S200B beast of a bylight at 335 watts. What? Watts? What? Watts? Insane. Weighing at 2.25 kilos, you feel like you get your money's worth right out of the box. It's well made, it's sturdy, it has a fan on top, has a fan below to keep this beautiful machine cool when it gets fired up to its full power potential, which we'll talk about very shortly. Has all your controls on the back, has a Bowens mount on the front, released with this funky little lock. Look at that, most locks are boring. This lock, not so boring. Hello? You can put barn doors on there, you can put a softbox, you can put a variety of other Suncrafter or other Bowen mount accessories that you can get from Suncrafter's site, see link below, or, well, anywhere else you get key light accessories. Before we get into the technicalities of this light and what it can do, it has these cool options here that you can mount it on. So it starts with the lever here that you turn this lever, and that allows you to then mount everything from here all the way through to here, completely vertical, up and down to horizontal. You can then lock that off. It's really easy to lock off. There's a good grip space in there too, so you know when it's super tight. You can even just have it portional if you want to just move it a little bit. Move it a little bit. A little bit more. Now obviously when this is on a stand like this, it's much easier to move than if I'm just holding it in my hand, right? Has your screw here which holds the light mount on, and this screw where you can put a pole, accessory or other monitor, whatever you need in there. You might even choose to use the app that's built in and mount it to the light so you can function this light using your effective app on the back of your phone instead of being limited just to the LCD that's just here. Suncrafter call their gear Suncrafter because they have crafted the power and the brightness of the sun into a light. I actually think it's just a pretty cool name that they can actually create warm to cool colors because it's a bylight on anything that you want to shoot. So let's have a look at what it can do, yeah? We plug this in by plugging the power into the back. So first of all, you need to realize that some of your screen is going to be a little bit hindered by the plug that's here. The reason they put the plug there is so the rest of it is actually streamlined. Sorry, hit the microphone. The rest of it's streamlined. You can actually save the cable from getting tangled up down below. Take it or leave it, that's the way it is. And then we simply turn on here. Ooh, look how bright that is. That's a 10%. That is the power of the sun. As you can see, this is 10%, and if I click it once, it goes to 20, then it goes to 40, 60, 80, and 100%, which is very handy. And you click it again, goes back to 0. Light is still on, but goes back to a standby position for when you're ready to use it. You can also just increase the light by here, so that's 1% you're seeing just there, and then it goes all the way up, and you can see how fast. So you turn it quicker, goes up quicker, turn it slow, goes down and up slower. Over here we have our temperature, and so our temperature goes all the way up to 6,500. If we take it down to daylight, it comes all the way down to 5,500, and that is about as accurate within 2% of daylight that you are ever going to get. And who would know, because that wall, never seen daylight apart from now. Then we come all the way down, and it goes past 4,000, 3,000, down to 2,700, and gives us a nice warm light. So you can play with anything from the warmth up to the cool, and it spares us from that super orange glow and the super bright white cold light. It uses a nice range that you would use on most shoots, especially if you're working with portraits, you're working with realistic things that you just want to create a lighting effect on without going overboard. So I think it holds it in that middle range really nicely. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Let's get some conversation happening. If I press this little button here, it moves this bracket from the CCT option to the effects option, and I can move through the different effects. And so, as you can see, hopefully you're not upset by flashing lights. Maybe I should put a bit of a warning at the start of this video about flashing lights. I apologize. But as you can see, it goes through all 10 effects. So there'll be effect in there that does the job that you need to get done when you're using a bi light. Bi means the orange and the white, the low and the high Kelvin rating. And when you have it on special effect, the other thing you can do is you can change the heat of the light so that it reflects that heat in the effect. There you go. So if you have an effect that works and you think, oh, I actually want it warm light rather than cold light, you can actually use this button over here to do that. I press that, the brackets go back over to your CCT options. If I press this button, it moves the Kelvin rating that we have for the light in strategic increments. So I go from 5,600 to 6,500, 2,700, 3,200, 4,300, 5,600. And if I just move that, it goes back to what we would use as regular intervals of setting for the cool or the warm light, depending on what your needs are in the studio or even outside, because it's powerful enough to make an effect on subjects when you're outside, not just in a dark studio. Now that bright like that, like this, look at this. This is at 310 watts at 100%. And if I want to get 335 out of it, I just click the max, and as you can see, it brightens up. I click the max and it takes it down. So that alters it about 25 watts, but it might be that extra boost and bump that you need. Now I've been running this for quite some time using just the max on 100% to warm it up. This is feeling really warm now. That's not too bad. This is feeling warm where the fan is, in order to do a fan check for you. So I'm going to hold this next to my microphone, and you're going to see how much fan interference we get when this is 100% at max and it's running real hot. So here we go. Listen up. Like, it's just like a gentle hum. It's dissipating the heat well, and it feels hot, but it's got massive, half the light here is fan and half the light here has ventilation, and so it's doing everything to expel the heat from it and push it out. So don't put this next to something you don't want to catch fire, obviously. Don't put a curtain on top of it and poof. Well, that's going to give you a really pyrotechnic display, isn't it? But the noise of the fan is really impressive. So it's getting a bit hotter now, a bit louder now. Let me just lift it up to the microphone again. But compared to the other lights I've used, the ones I use here in the studio, this actually is pretty good. I'm actually really impressed how this is dissipating the heat that's generated when it's creating such a bright light. But the way you'd use this in your studio to recreate daylight and sunlight, little sunset or sunrise action with the oranges, I don't think the sound from this would interfere with anything that you're actually trying to do as you film and photo with that which is in front of you. I'm going to replace, I think, my key light with this. And it's also got the handle, so you can carry it around. You can do like an interrogation on someone. You can carry it around, so it's nice and portable. And at 2.25 kilos, I've been holding this for quite a while. My arm hasn't fallen off. It is a little bit of a stretch as I've been doing it for 30 minutes, but really quite manageable. Gotta be careful when you touch that. A little bit warm. Let's open up the app. That is the easiest app and Bluetooth installation I have ever had. Wow. And let's just see if it works. Come on! So if I just click on Suncrafter S200B, it brings up the infrastructure of the app, and I have all these choices, and it all makes sense. I can change the intensity of the light all the way up to 100, and below I can change what sort of arc and dimming curve it has. So at the moment it's linear. Linear means that as you go from 0 to 100, the light brightens like this on a steady, incremental, predictable track. Sometimes the light can go from 0 to 70 and it goes quite strong, and then there's very little change and brightness of intensity from, say, 70 to 100. That's what linear means. If I want it instantly off, I just click it on and off. If I want to put other lights on too, I can do that by just selecting this and selecting the other ones that are there. If I want to make them all work at the same time, or I want them to be staggered or have different workflows on what each of the lights do. To see my presets, they're all there, right there, ready to go. And then I can autofill, and I go 5,000. But I want it specific. Let's say I want to be at 5,060, and I can hit that done. and it puts it to 5060. You can be as specific as you like with this app. I can change my eye comfort. So one of the benefits of this is there's very little blue light that comes out of it, which means it's easy on the eyes. So if you're working with a model that's looking at the light all day long, you can just go eye comfort and it can relieve the stress put on their eyes. Therefore, their eyes aren't going to water or be messed up, whatever. They're going to have a much better day, not leave with a headache after working under bright lights. Quite clever, I reckon. I can put it to the standard, so that just bumps it to the standard, and the standard is 60% at 5,600. That's about standard as you get, right? Well played. If I go bright, it bumps it all the way up to brightness of intensity. If I go ultra bright, it goes right up to 100. I can then go a light source library, and so I can choose from these presets what light gets produced out of what color. I can then choose what color light gets produced out of this light, and it gives me full control over the light. And oh, so good, isn't it? And then I can go to effects. I can access the effects there that we talked about before, so you can see what they are. And again, I can change the intensity. I can change the speed of the flashes. I can change the warmth and coolness of the light. And I can do that on all of these, including the overall intensity. And it's still in a standard linear dimming curve. I prefer a linear dimming curve to any other. Maybe it's just me. It's just more predictable. You know where it's going when you crank it up. Woo! What do we think? What do we think? Let us know in the comments below. There's tons of these lights around, but I really like how this dissipates the heat. The light that it produces is fully controllable. Comes with a variety of accessories. It looks good. It feels good. You have complete control over it. It doesn't weigh a ton, but for the brightness you get out of it, the brightness, wow. It's like the power of the sun burning your eyes, except it doesn't because it's comfortable in the eyes. All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to go down to 10%, and then I'm going to turn off all the other lights. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 other lights in the studio, and they're all gone now. All right, so it's just me. That is so bright. That's on 10%. Let me just calm that down. Let me just take that down to, okay, this is 1%. 1%, guys. Look how bright that is. That is so bright. I'm just a washed out goat face. Ghost face. Goat face. Greatest of all time face. All right, oh, let's go. Let's just crank this up. Looking at the background of my studio. I take it down so it's a warmer light. And then I'm going to increase the brightness. So have a look here. You can see it getting brighter and brighter and brighter. And if I just hit this max button, look at that. And then can I go? Oh, it's so bright. I feel like I'm harnessing the power of the sun in my hands, and it's warm. My goodness, that's warm. So don't put it close to something. Oh, but on a cold day, that's very cheery. I need to put sunscreen on. I've just cooked half of my face. And so interestingly, when you put max on, it bumps it up by an extra 25 watts, but holds it at your percentage. So if you have 50%, you hit max, it goes up to 50% plus 25 extra watts, all the way up to 335 watts. That is an increase from 310 watts, which is at 100%. So super bright for all those needs you have, including like lighting up the world. Thank you, Suncrafter, for trusting me with this and for sending me this product. There's links in the description below. You might even find yourself a saving code down there if you're quick. I really appreciate them sending this and the partnership that I've had with them. They've been very understanding and supportive. And it even says, look, it even says off when you put standby off on the app. So, and if I want to change that, I just do this. Easy done. If I get off effects and goes back to our warm light, you've seen everything you need to see, right? All you have to do now is like, subscribe, ring the bell, come back to the next video and put a comment down below what you love or dislike about this light. There surely wouldn't be anything not from you guys. Oh, I look forward to what you got to say. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.